Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of What in the World. Man, I gotta say, this week has been something else, you know? We are so far into the coronavirus pandemic. The world seems to be ending. We are officially halfway done 2020. That's pretty cool. Today, on the day of release of this, is July 12th. I welcome you all. We got a lot to talk about today. I don't have a guest with me, so I probably should have started this off like that. Now this is just gonna be me talking, old school Gaia podcast style. So it's just me. It's a lovely rainy day where I'm at. I hope that you enjoy the sounds of thunder and rain and passing cars as I go by, because I don't have a professional recording studio. But that being said, I hope that you're all having a lovely day. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm really excited. I haven't done just a solo talk in a while, and I feel like this will be helping me, because I have a tendency to get mad at friends and family on Facebook due to political opinions and global warming and climate change and all that jazz. So I'm hoping that this will be my my new outlet. Just in case I just need to let some steam loose, you guys can just be here and talk and listen, and yeah, it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to getting into this stuff. We got a lot to talk about, so let's start things off a little different. I'll give a couple shout outs to some things that I've been really into recently. Just no one else is here, so I might as well just spout into the void some of the things that I'm into. As of recording this, I'm recording this on Friday before the release, so the 10th. Last night, Juice WRLD released the album Legends Never Die, and man, that is that's wonderful. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the Legends Never Die artwork on the record of the week. Go check that out, please. Rest in peace, Juice. He was a phenomenal musician, phenomenal artist. Just died way too soon. It was sad. He was great though. It was really sad. I was really bummed when I found out that he died. So go give Juice some love. We'll have some fun with that. Also, I know this isn't new, but there's a story that we were talking about on my Discord server. If you want to join that, by the way, motherearthcomics.com/discord. That'll give you immediate access to the server. Go check that out. We were just talking about a short story called The Egg by Andy Weir, I think is how you pronounce it. Basically, it's a theological story about life and God and different types of religion and how things work out like that, and goes into reincarnation and like Hinduism and Buddhism and Christianity. There's all different sorts of topics that it covers. It's a good story. There will be a link to that in the description below, because if you're just looking for something easy to read, it usually takes like 5 or 10 minutes to read it. So check that out, because I really love it. It's helped me wrap my head around the universe and everything like that. It's very helpful. The story starts off with, you were on your way home when you died. So that's reason enough for me to be interested in a story. So we've got music. Go listen to Legends Never Die, the album by Juice WRLD. Go read The Egg by Andy Weir. And let's say here's a movie recommendation for you. Trumbo. If you have never seen the movie Trumbo, please go check it out. It follows the story of Dalton Trumbo, who was a screenwriter back in the 40s, and I forget when he died. I think it was the 70s, maybe? Yeah, it was the 70s. So he was a phenomenal screenwriter. If any of you film nerds like me are into old movies, you'll know movies like Spartacus or Roman Holiday, The Brave One, Exodus. Phenomenal works of art, and he was a phenomenal writer, but he was blacklisted during the Red Scare, communism and all that. And I'm sure you all know my opinions on communism versus capitalism, so I'll just leave it like that. But it was absolutely insanely good movie. Bryan Cranston plays Dalton Trumbo. It was probably, I would happily say that it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's also one of my in my opinion, it's the best movie that has come out of the 21st century so far. Filled with a incredible cast. Diane Lane plays his wife Cleo Trumbo. Helen Mirren, Elle Fanning, Louis C.K., John Goodman is in it. It's incredible. Great movie. Go watch Trumbo. Go read The Egg. Go listen to Legends Never Die. You will be pleasantly surprised with the quality and message of all of these pieces. Moving on. Let's get into the news, there's a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, for all of my Glee fans out there, we know that Naya Rivera has gone missing. She is presumed dead, very tragically. She was out boating with her son. As of recording this is the third day into the search for her. She was out on a boat with her son in Lake Piru in Los Angeles. She was there on the 7th, I believe. And unfortunately, she went into the water, according to her son, and did not come back out. Her son was the last person that saw her. She was supposed to return the boat that she rented by 4:30. She did not do so. Her son said that her son said that him and his mother were out swimming in the lake, and he got tired, so he got back on the boat, but she did not. According to CBS News, the boy gave enough information to investigators to conclude that his mother never made it out of the water. Now, that's not very specific. And they mentioned that the officer never said that. The officer never said what the kid said. He's only 4 years old, so we all know that children are surprisingly cognitive. But it's interesting. All we know is that she didn't get back on the boat. They also they continued searching for 5 hours. So they probably searched around until 10 p.m. because they noticed the boat just floating around around 4:30. So they went out, they got the kid, they brought him back. It was interesting that they stopped after 10 hours or after 5 hours. I understand that it's probably hard to look in water after dark. But if I'm not mistaken, there is a military base, maybe even a Coast Guard. It looks like Lake Piru is only about an hour's drive from the closest Coast Guard. So you'd think that maybe, and this is all just, speculation. I can't be sure of it, obviously, but you'd think that there would be a little more investigation into something like that, like they were. I'm sure that the Coast Guard, again, just speculation, but I'm sure that the Coast Guard has tools that they would be able to use to, use sonar underwater, look for unnatural bodies, because it's at the point where, if she went under the water and hit her head on something, unfortunately, it's likely that she didn't survive. Because we're 3 days in now, and there's no information on her. They're still looking for her. Again, according to CBS, the search is now being treated as a recovery mission. It's unlikely that she will be found alive. I hope that she is. I just, being realistic, I don't see it happening. It's really sad, and it's really sad to know that her son was there when it happened. So many thoughts and love to the Rivera family, all of her friends and loved ones around her. I know that they must be going through something very horrible right now. So love from the earth, and hope that your pain is quelled, and you use it to grow and grow. I hope that something comes of this in a positive manner, although it may seem very dark at this time. But you got to keep positive. I hope that she's all right. Little information on her. She obviously was known for playing Santana on Glee. I just started watching it. I really like it. I like it a lot. I'm only in the first season now. Her character, Santana, is a colossal mean girl. Gotta keep it PG, so I won't say anything too terrible, but she's the worst. Like, she's just like one of those girls that you knew in high school that was like obsessed with her image. And if anything got in her way, then that was a problem. We all know those people. But she played the character wonderfully. She was actually nominated for a Grammy in 2010 because she was... She was actually nominated for a Grammy in 2010 because of their rendition of Don't Stop Believin'. She also won several ALMA awards, a People's Choice Award, and a Screen Actors Guild Award, according to IMDb. She did post a picture the day before she before she disappeared. Very, very lovely picture of her and her son. She also played Colette in the Step Up spinoff series since 2018. Much hope and love to the Rivera family. As I said before, she is a phenomenal actress, and I hope that everything turns out all right for her, because it would be really sad. A couple people have actually voiced a story about it. I know that spoiler alert, Heather Morris, who plays Brittany on Glee, her and Santana actually ended up dating on the show. She commented on Instagram saying, "We need all the prayers we can to get to bring our Naya back home to us. We need your love and light." Demi Lovato, who also showed up she guest starred in the 5th season, wrote, "Please pray for Naya Rivera to be found safe and sound." So she has a lot of people that love her and want her to be okay. And I can speak for my community and say that we are giving love and hope that everything turns out all right. Up next is the pandemic coverage. Yes, as we all know, since about, was it February? January, maybe? I don't remember. But since then, the United States has been hit with huge waves of the coronavirus. Woo! It's cool to talk about now because originally YouTube was demonetizing any video that even mentioned the word corona or virus or pandemic. So it's cool that that's fixed now. It wouldn't affect me anyway, as I'm not monetized. If you would like to support me financially, there's a link to my shop below. I know that it's a tough time for everyone, but and I don't want to make you feel like you have to, but if you're interested and you want some merchandise from me, it really helps me out. So let me know. Well, you don't have to let me know, but if you do buy something, then tweet at me on Twitter. Show me what you got, because it's really cool. Cases in the United States of the coronavirus are starting to increase again on a national scale. Isn't that crazy? For a while, we were flattening the curve. For probably about 2 weeks, everything was starting to calm down, and we were like, all right, well, everything's starting to get back to normal. Hopefully we can, take things slow and whatever. And then they didn't take anything slow. Now, it kind of feels like everything's going back to the beginning of the pandemic, when everything was closing again. I know personally, I live in Pennsylvania. Now there is a mandatory mask order again, because it's starting to go up again. It's cool. There are actually there are 11 states and 1 territory that have decreased to the point of leveling out. These 11 states and 1 territory are to the point where they can things are actually starting to go back to normal, because it was spreading so quickly that now the number of cases have dropped so far that it's just kind of staying even. And all of these statistics are over the last 2 weeks. So those numbers are 2 weeks of steady numbers. And they're fairly low, too. It's not like it's staying normal at 4,000 cases a day. No, it's less than 100. So double digits, which is phenomenal. Those states are New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Virginia, Connecticut, Minnesota, Mississippi, Utah, Arkansas, Rhode Island, Wyoming, and the territory is Guam, which is phenomenal. All of this information is coming from the New York Times, who is getting their information from the CDC, which is awesome. There are 3 states that are actually decreasing, and they're all right next to each other. It's New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. So shout out to the northern tip of the United States, the northeastern tip of the U.S. Now, if you are counting along, that only equals 14 states and 1 territory, which is a pretty big bummer. There wasn't any information on the American Samoa or the Northern Mariana Islands. However, there is information on Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and Puerto... No, I already said Puerto Rico. Yeah. The Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam, and then the other two territories that the United States has is the Northern Mariana and American Samoa, but we don't have information on those two. The other 36 states, 2 territories, and the national capital, the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., are all increasing. As many of you know, I live in Pennsylvania, so for Pennsylvania not to be on that list is kind of disappointing. I personally, I've been paying more attention to Pennsylvania as a state, as well as New Jersey, because that's where I go to school, and there's about a month left until I go back. But Pennsylvania is... everything was going fine. We were actually one of the states that was stabilizing their number of cases a day. But then there was a lot of pressure on the governor, Tom Wolf, and it caused him to kind of open everything up kind of slowly. We kind of got pushed into a green, whatever that is, green level, and it didn't do us very good. I gotta say, we're going back up again. The number of cases are spiking, unfortunately, and of course a lot of this is due to more testing being done, but as our commander in Orange stated, that if we stop testing people as much, we won't have as many cases, which is, in case you don't know, incredibly irresponsible and very stupid. Please don't listen to anything that he says about this pandemic, because he has no idea what he's talking about. However, in case you couldn't tell, the other states, territories, and capital are California, Texas, Florida, Illinois, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, Maryland, Louisiana, Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana, Alabama, Washington, Wisconsin, Colorado, Iowa, Missouri, Nevada, Nebraska, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Delaware, Oregon, Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, West Virginia, Alaska, Montana, Hawaii, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. Now, if you're paying attention, I specifically did not name Arizona. The reason for that is that Arizona is so ungodly infected. Like, they're getting hit hard. And it's sad, because Arizona's a beautiful state. They got Phoenix, they got the Grand Canyon. There's so much in Arizona that is lovely, and the fact that they aren't handling it well is very disappointing. And when I say that they're not handling it well, there were over 3,600 cases. Their average is 3,600 cases a day in their state. Yesterday, as of recording this, they hit around 4,000 cases in a single day. And that it's averaging out to about 50 deaths per day. Yesterday, July 9th, as of recording this, they were at 101 deaths, which is scary. And in case you didn't know, July 9th was the new record high. There were 60,000 cases in a single day in the United States, and about 4,000 of those came from Arizona alone. That is so not good that it's kind of upsetting to talk about. Now again, this could in part be due to the fact that there are a lot more tests being done. And that's understandable. There should be more tests done. However, it doesn't stop the fact that Arizona has been mishandling the pandemic, and because of that, more people are getting sick. In case you don't know, the number of recorded cases in the United States is 3.1 million people. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, because there are 300 was it 336.3 million people in the United States. That's way below 1%. It's about 1/3%. Even probably like 1/5%. That's just rough math. But the fact that there have been 133,000 plus deaths in the United States, that's insane. You know? That's more people than my entire hometown. My hometown has about 50,000 people. That's almost 3 times as many as the people that I grew up around have died. It's really scary. It's real, and it's out here. So, and I go to school in New Jersey, and North Jersey at that. So close to New York, which was the United States epicenter. My school is doing the first 3 weeks of our classes are going to be entirely online. So we're going to move in around August 17th, and then our classes are going to be just entirely digital to allow us to kind of adjust and quarantine ourselves in our dorms. Then after that 3 weeks is up, after Labor Day, then we're going to be transitioning to online and hybrid. It's going to be like an online hybrid. If the classes can be taught online, then they will be. If they need to be in person, then obviously it'll have to be, but we'll have to practice social distancing and wear masks, which, as a citizen that cares for the lives of other citizens, I don't have a problem doing that. If you have a problem wearing a mask and being less than 6 feet close to people, then first off, a little creepy, dude. Second off, you're not hurting yourself. All you're doing is putting other people at risk. Don't do it. Probably one of the most upsetting things to me is that Disney World opened this week. Isn't that weird? We're in the middle of a pandemic. It's still going on, and numbers are getting higher. And Disney was like, let's open it up. And to their credit, they're not opening it entirely. And there's going to be more security to quote unquote enforce social distancing, but we'll see how that goes. Also, they're only opening 3 of the parks, and one of them isn't even a park. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are going to be open, and as well as Disney Springs, otherwise known as Downtown Disney. That's mostly just shops. There's not really much to do there, except like there's like a Lego shop and there's like a bunch of designer stores. It's pretty much like a shopping district for Disney World, which I don't know why you have to have that there, but whatever. Capitalism, I guess. Also, in case you forgot, Florida is one of the states that is consistently increasing their case numbers. They haven't leveled out yet because their governor doesn't believe it. He's publicly called it a hoax, and it's a little dumb. But, oh well. Yeah, I'm sure there will be repercussions. I don't think that it's gonna. I genuinely don't think that the coronavirus is going to go away anytime before 2020 ends. Like, I think that it's going to leak into 2021. And honestly, if we're being realistic, it's not going to go away. Like, it's a sickness that we're going to have to deal with now. However severe it is, that depends. People still get Ebola in Africa. AIDS was considered a pandemic, and we're still dealing with it. It's sad but true. Swine flu, the flu, every year there's just new bits of it. It's not gonna go away, but I think that the pandemic eventually will slow down, but not if they keep doing it. Not if they keep treating it like this. It sucks. So just wear your masks. Just wear your masks and don't hang out with people if you don't need to. Trust me, I understand it. I'm 20. I'm a college kid. I want to be hanging out with people. I have a lot of friends that I wish that I could just go drive down to the beach and hang out with, but I can't really do that. That's not really an option. That's about everything that I got on the pandemic. Let's talk about some changes in the world that we're seeing. In case you don't know, in case you've been living under a rock, we are currently in what many are considering to be, and what it is, the largest civil rights movement in the world. It has spanned across 18 countries. It kind of sparked with the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd by an active duty police officer who kneeled on his neck until he died. Very, very tragic. There are protests going in every state across the country, as well as 18 countries. As far as I know, it's only been 18. I don't know if the numbers have increased at all. However, because of these protests for racial justice, a lot of things have been reconsidering their origins. There have been a lot of people wanting to remove Columbus from Columbus Day from the national holidays, because they don't want to celebrate someone who is a racist, genocidal, pedophilic rapist. And that's understandable. I wouldn't want to celebrate him as well. That's why I celebrate Leif Erikson Day, because I think that he's a lot cooler. In case you don't know, Leif Erikson Day takes place the day before Columbus Day, because he came to North America first. Just saying. Some of these changes are small, brands and things changing, and I have a list of those brands. But one of these, which I love, is the Mississippi state flag. I think that Mississippi changing their flag is the coolest thing. They did officially announce that they're going to remove the Confederate battle symbol from their flag. Good on them. They don't need a symbol of traitors on their flag, so they're redoing that. There are a lot of people, they're not sure what they're going to change it to. There is one in particular that I know a lot of people want. I forget, it's called the Mississippi Freedom Flag or something like that. However, there was a flag designed by Rashonda Perryman of Jackson, Mississippi. She's a fantastic graphic artist. I definitely recommend you going to check her out. She did a cool design of the flag is basically an M. It has different colors, blacks and reds. The colors just work very well, and it has a single star in the bottom corner, and it says "In God We Trust," and then Mississippi on top of it, which is, I'm not one for the use of God in any state affairs or government affairs, separation of church and state and all that, but it's a lot better, and the design itself is beautiful. There will be a link to that below. Other big changes due to racial injustice, probably the biggest, aside from the Mississippi state flag, would be the Washington Redskins are considering changing their name, which is awesome, because I've always said that having a team named after a derogatory term for Native Americans is inherently racist and un-American. So and I understand that takes a lot of legal work. It's not something that they can just do, because the NFL and the Redskins are huge corporations and company, and it's a company. It's not just, they have a football team that they can change the names on the jerseys to. It's going to take a lot of rebranding. So, and they want to do something that'll they're not going to change it entirely. Some people are talking about like the Washington Reds, but of course there's already a baseball team called the Reds. It's good that they're making that change. It's not something that we're exactly asking for. Really, these protests are for we want like actual political and social and racial justice in this country, and that's what we're asking for. You know, we want we want Derek Chauvin to be put in prison. We want the police officers that killed Breonna Taylor to be arrested, but they're still police officers. So that's the kind of change that we're asking for. But it's good that these brands and companies are, and even states are taking action and trying to destigmatize just the acceptance of these racial names. I have this list here, and I'll just run through it real quick since we're kind of running low on time. The Washington Redskins are considering changing their name. As everyone knows, Aunt Jemima is changing their branding, as well as other food things like Uncle Ben's Rice, Mrs. Butterworth's, and Cream of Wheat, all of which were kind of their origins come from racial stereotypes. So stereotyping is we're moving away from that. Colgate, of all people, you know, the toothpaste brand, they actually have a brand in China called Darlie, which was originally called Darky, which translates to a black person's toothpaste in Chinese. Really disappointing. Had no idea about that, but that proves that it's not just an American issue. It's all over. You know, that's a toothpaste brand in China that they're going to take a look at rebranding that, which is phenomenal. And even after they rebranded it, Darlie it's no longer called that. It's no longer called Darky. It's Darlie now, and they're even rebranding that because they're trying to distance themselves from, you know, the decisions of the past, which is good. Eskimo pies are also going to be changed, as Eskimo is a derogatory term for Native Alaskans. Dixie Beer is going to change their name because Dixie, in case you don't know, refers to the South during the time of slavery and the Confederacy. That goes along with the Dixie Chicks, who are also just now the Chicks, which I think is a cool name. I think the Chicks is a really cool name for like a country rock band. I think it's fun, and it takes away the reference to Dixie, which is a kind of a time and place that we are trying to distance ourselves from. You know, let it stay in history. We don't need to drag it out. Finally, Lady Antebellum is now going by the name Lady A, as Antebellum is the period before the Civil War in the South, where slavery was, of course, still legal, which is great that they are getting away from that. However, they're under hot water now because of a blues singer who goes by the nickname Lady A and has for years. They are suing her, which the fact that they just started going by that name and now they're suing someone who's gone by that name for years because they're bigger. They're a bigger band than this very talented African American blues singer, and they're suing her out of the name that she's gone by for years. It's really sad because they're acting like they're doing something to help, and then they just immediately turn around and do something like that. So, not cool, but, you know, hopefully they see the error of their ways. That's about it. That's what I got for today. There are links to everything mentioned below there's links to information about Naya Rivera. There's links to information about the coronavirus pandemic, and there are links to all of the brands that are going to be changing their names. And on that website, actually, you can click on each individual brand and band and state and all that. That's and you can read like individual stories for that. So that's great. There's links to that below. There's also going to be a link to petitions that you can sign to help support Black Lives Matter and other associations that are seeking racial and social justice. Links to all my social media will be in the description. You could also just go to my website, motherearthcomics.com. That has links. If you're listening on Spotify, you can go check out the other podcasts on there. If you're listening on YouTube, you can look. That has the links to YouTube, Spotify. My subreddit is on there. Links to my Discord. All of that is on there. Thank you all for listening. If you liked it, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe. If you're new, that's awesome. Welcome. It's cool to have you here. Tell me what else you'd like to have me talk about in other episodes. Whether I have a guest or not, there will be a new episode every Sunday at 10 a.m. Also, random videos of a show that I have yet to name on Thursdays. This upcoming week, we're going to have a on Thursday at 10 a.m. there will be a collaborative drawing challenge that we hosted on my Discord with a couple other fantastic artists. So be on the lookout for that on Thursday at 10 a.m. And then that's the schedule. Sunday and Thursdays at 10 a.m. That's when my new videos come out. That's when new podcasts come out. Drop a like, subscribe if you want to see some more. Tell me what you want me to talk about in comments, or if you want to leave a suggestion on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, you can do that. And yeah, I'll thank you everyone for coming. I've had a real fun time just talking and hanging out with you guys. Stay safe out there, wear your masks, and never stop fighting. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.